Isipin mo yung mga nangyayari sa atin ngayon, kung abilities lang ng tao ang pag-uusapan, hindi siya kayang gawin. This would not be possible without all of you. Kayo ang inspirations namin. Alam nyo ba yon? Alam nyo ba yon? Alam nyo ba yon?
Clues. So let's talk about our first speaker coming right out about it, Tony. Top leaders in the network marketing profession globally. I mean, when you really think about it, Tony Robbins says success leaves clues. So let's talk about our first speaker coming right out of the gate.
Yeah, she's amazing. She was a struggling college student, and then she joined network marketing, and she became actually one of the first female Asian multimillionaires. And that's a big thing, guys. I just wonder, Sherry, if you were like 25, 26, 27, 28, and want to be a millionaire, like, wow!
You know what? It's what we dream for, right? I mean, she's been put into the Network Marketing Hall of Fame as one of the first ambassadors. She's absolutely crushing it. She co-authored the book, How to Become a Millionaire, 1 peso at a time. That's like 50 million pesos to become a millionaire. Please help us welcome Aika, Lorraine, Yuri.
Amazing morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Business for Home, for having me here. Grateful to Ted for making this event possible. I'm so blessed to be given a chance to speak on what one needs to do to become a top leader. Before I go ahead and share on my topic, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Aika Lorraine and I'm from the Philippines. Friends and colleagues call me Aika. A few years ago, by the grace of God, I co-founded a marketing and distribution company at the age of 27, making me Asia's youngest network marketing founder, and I have learned that big time that it entails great responsibility, part of which is to cultivate a leadership culture that is focused on discipline, setting high standards, and the generation of wealth through networking, or doing network marketing with utmost integrity and without compromise. On a more personal note, I am the youngest among 4 siblings and blessed with parents who at an early age exposed us to what it means to run a family business. I was born and raised in a small town where we used to own a store that sells goods and other commodities, a place where I have vivid and fond childhood memories. Growing up, I was a natural achiever, and that because of the standards raised by my parents, which later on allowed me to study and take up an engineering course at a premier university, the University of the Philippines in Diliman. It was also at this time, at age 20, that I got introduced to the network marketing industry, and the rest is history. Looking back, one of the questions I needed to find an answer to as a network marketer is this: why do people, network marketer or not, still end up poor and unsuccessful? You see, ours is an industry where people from all walks of life can actually do the business. And while some become undeniably successful, there are still those that, in spite of having stayed in network marketing, still end up poor and unsuccessful. I believe there are 3 crucial reasons for that. 1, they lack self-discipline. If we want greater things in the future, we need to make sacrifices in the present. In order to do that, we need to have self-discipline. 2, they seek success. Nothing wrong with that, right? Everybody wants to be successful. At least, I have not heard of anyone who seeks to fail. Have you? But is it really the one thing we ought to seek? 3, they are unaware of the principle of management. What do you mean, Aika? Does success require a degree or further studies on management in order to be rich and successful? Well, not really. And so, how exactly can people be rich and successful, as opposed to still end up poor and unsuccessful? Now let's talk about the first reason. There is a lack of self-discipline. It starts with you. When you don't have self-discipline, people will not believe what you say. People will not trust you. And people will not like you. You are not a leader if you are not self-disciplined. There is a natural disdain for people who lack discipline. All success starts with self-discipline. It is a strong foundation of successful people, and it is the root of leadership. Having it is one of the hardest habits to start, but when you get used to it and begin to embrace it, you can't help but appreciate its importance in your life. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to be the most disciplined. People who are self-disciplined would always beat the smart ones. A disciplined person will attract people because people are naturally drawn to disciplined people. Athletes are featured on commercials because they are disciplined. Why are most people poor? You need to understand that poverty is not the problem. It is the result. People are poor because they lack self-discipline. I personally experienced this in this industry. At age 21, I thought I have already built a solid team and income. I started taking vacations with friends. I stopped network activities for about a month. Slowly, my income started to go down. When I finally decided to return, the entire group no longer exists. I have to start from scratch again. All the while, I was thinking I have made unshakable solid network, but in a snap of a finger, it all disappeared. Needless to say, I had to start over and learn discipline and sacrifice the hard way. Would you like to know what your true network income is? Stop all your network activity for about 2 to 3 months. If your income stays the same or goes up, that means you have built your team and successfully made leaders under you. But for example, you've been earning $300,000 a month. Then you stop all your network activity, and your income drops drastically. It only proves that you don't have leaders yet and have not built a solid network. Here's the fact. Successful people are multi-generational thinkers. What do you mean, Aika? It means they are not just thinking of themselves. When they set goals and dream big dreams, they are thinking of the generations that will come after them. That is just how they are wired to think. Let me ask you a question. Have you been thinking of the generations after you? Or have you just been thinking about yourself? Are your goals for your family, your children, your children's children, or you haven't even started setting goals yet? Having self-discipline will not only be beneficial for you, it has a ripple effect to the generations after you. If you're a good parent, you would have started thinking about these things. What kind of inheritance are you leaving for your children? It's part of being mature, responsible, and self-disciplined. Discipline means you are capable of making sacrifices now for your greater future. You begin to concentrate on things that would bear much fruit. Sacrificing today means securing a better future. It is not an easy feat. You sacrifice the things you want to do today because you wanted to give your family the quality of life that they deserve in the future. And this may go on for years. You have to be on the lookout for anything that is not helping you achieve your dreams. And put an immediate stop to each one of them. Like watching TV, YouTube, Netflix, hanging out with friends for leisure activities, and the like. You need to willingly set aside these things because you want to give your family a better future. This is much like what we do in network marketing. All the things that can give you short-term satisfaction, you have to willingly lay it on the line. Why? Because long-term, you see a better and brighter future happening to your family. And you saw it possible only here in network marketing. We need self-discipline. It's part of being mature and responsible. When you have self-discipline, you can sacrifice the things you want to do now in exchange for the quality of life waiting for you in the future. And believe me, in God's perfect time, you will reap the benefits of all your sacrifices just like what is happening to the top leaders in the world. You want to know the difference of successful and unsuccessful people? Self-discipline. Second, if you want to be successful, then stop running after success. Instead, be a person of value. What do you exactly mean by being valuable? Let us first have a look at what it means. Webster defined it as having desirable or esteemed characteristics or of great user service. What are some of the things you need on a daily basis? Food, water, gasoline, you would readily pay for these things because they are of value, right? When you get hungry, you pay for food. When you get thirsty, you pay for water. When your car runs out of gas, you readily pay for it. Why? Because you need it. It's a necessity for you. It is valuable. Everything has a value. Nothing comes for free. Stop chasing money or running after success. Instead, seek after being a person of value or make yourself valuable. Create value and add value, and people will begin to pay you. It's not something that happens overnight. You have to work on making yourself valuable so that people will pay based on your value. It could mean developing a gift or a skill to a point that people will not hesitate to pay whatever amount it takes just to have you share it with them. You have to learn and work on creating a name for yourself. Build a powerful legacy. You have to become so good at what you do or a chosen field that people cannot help but notice you. Tony Robbins said this: "The single most important and potent way to expand your income is to devise a way to consistently add real value to people's lives, and you will prosper." Are you consistently adding real value to the people around you? Speaking of Tony Robbins, he is a classic example of a person who has made himself in demand when it comes to his speaking skills. Because of that, people are willing to pay him just to hear him speak. He has become so good at what he does that people can't ignore him. Branded items are another example. Think about Gucci, LV, Hermes. Why are we paying so much for these items? You know why? Because we are paying for the name attached to it. That is the value of their name. A Richard Mille branded watch would cost around $300,000 to $1 million. Why? Because they know the value that goes with their name. People are willing to do just about anything to get hold of it. They fall in line to buy this watch. The company runs out of supply because of the demand for their watches. They don't have to beg or force people to buy it. People are willing to adjust to the price they dictate because that is how valuable they have made their brand to be. Be valuable. Create value and add value, and then people will pay you. I have a question. If someone had to think about something that reminded them of you, what would it be? If they never think about you, you never made yourself valuable. You have become a jack of many trades and master of none. Just like when I say Michael Jordan, what comes to your mind? Tiger Woods, Zig Ziglar, or Manny Pacquiao. What comes to mind when you hear of these names? What about your name? Now you will have to think about that. Become so good at what you do or field of expertise that people can ignore you. The world is filled with common people. But as for you, you aim higher. Develop your gift. Focus on that one thing. Master your gift. How valuable are you? It's the same thing in network marketing. Stop seeking success. Instead, seek to become a person of value. How? By developing yourself. Put in the work needed to develop yourself as a leader, and the company will pay you for that. Make it a goal to make yourself better every day. The company will not waste their resources paying someone who isn't excelling on their craft. When you have made yourself valuable, time will come that people will be approaching you and asking how they can join your team. You will be amazed at how people would want to be under your leadership. Why? Because you have made yourself valuable. You would even come to a point where there is no need to post or do extensive marketing. People will come to you automatically, and there's no more room for bargaining. Don't seek success. Seek to become a person of value. Become so good at what you do or the field you are in that people can't ignore you. Make this your goal. Create a name for yourself and build a powerful legacy. Now let's go for reason number 3 as to why people are still poor and unsuccessful. It's because they are unaware of the principle of management. Management means you do not own what you currently have, all these material things. From the root word manage, which means in charge of. We are not the owners, but only managers of what we possess. all that we have now, all the blessings, even the material stuff like cars, houses, money, network, wisdom, knowledge, or rank, everything is just entrusted to us so we can be in charge of it. God is the ultimate owner and we are just the managers. And ultimately, what the owner wants is that we can be good stewards of whatever is entrusted to us, right? For example, you entrusted your car to your brother. Would you like him to take good care of it and have it returned in perfect condition? Yes, of course. The Lord wants us to do the same. He wants us to take good care and be a good steward of the things He has entrusted us with. Management is the effective, efficient, correct, and timely use of another person's property and resources for the purpose for which they were delegated. But it doesn't stop with that. Management also means that whatever is being managed would have an added value when returned to the rightful owner. Management implies that when you return, whatever it is that you are managing, it is supposed to be better and have more value. That's management. You need to understand that God will never give you what you pray for, only what you can manage. For example, you're praying for an income of $1 million a month, and yet you can't even manage the money you have now. You spend it on non-valuable things. Maybe God will have to reconsider and say, wait a minute, I gave you 100 yesterday, and you spend it on non-valuable things. Do you think God will entrust you with $1 million? Of course not. Question: if you will ask and keep on praying that you will be blessed with a large sum of money, do you think God will entrust you with it again? The obvious answer is no. Why? Because you mismanaged the money He has blessed you with the first time around. You were not able to handle it properly. Worst, it can even bring you to ruin. It's the same here in our industry. You're praying for a big network of leaders, but you can't even manage yourself. You always wake up late. You can't manage your emotions. You can't manage your own time. You can't even manage your own self. How will God give you what you pray for? He can only entrust you with what you can manage. You know why? Because God is protecting that big network of leaders from you. He will entrust leaders only to those who can manage leaders, so they can be in the hands of a faithful manager. You're praying for a big house, and yet you can't even clean or fix your things in the house you're currently renting. You're praying for your own car, and yet you can't even take good care of the car you borrowed from your dad. If you can't manage another person's property, how will God entrust you with a property of your own, right? For example, you have a 5-year-old kid who wants to borrow your car going to school. Needless to say, that kid can't drive and no parent on his right mind would be willing to let their kid borrow the car because they know the kid cannot manage it. God wants us to be an economist. What's an economist? To economize means to get the maximum out of the minimum. When the Lord entrusts us even with the little things, we should make the most out of it. We have to learn how to make it grow. He watches your management to see if you can handle what you're asking for. Never pray beyond your ability to manage. Money is very easy to get. Money is supposed to come to you. So if it keeps moving away from you, it is trying to tell you something you can't manage. An answered prayer is regulated by your capacity to manage. And when you mismanage what God gave you, you will lose it. Whatever you mismanage, you will lose. So no matter how small your income is, learn to manage it well. Your organization may be small at the moment, but learn how to take good care of them. Teach them and mentor them. If you don't have your own place yet, learn to take care of your place. Clean it up. Make sure you are properly using and taking care of your things. When God sees that you are ready, responsible, prepared, and can manage things properly, He will be happy and glad to grant the desires of your heart. So if you want to be successful, first, be self-disciplined. Second, become a person of value. And third, know the principle of management. As I end, let me leave you with these quotes. One comes from a well-known historical figure of all time. Albert Einstein said, and I quote, "Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value." Another one comes from the book 1 Corinthians 4:2 says, "Now it is required that those who have been given a trust must prove faithful, because you would have made yourself a person of value when you are faithful with what God has entrusted you with. And that is not possible without embracing the discipline that goes with it." Once again, I am Aika Lorraine. Thank you very much and have a great day. To God be all the glory.
That was absolutely fantastic. I love learning from Aika. I love learning from incredible people. Like I talked about, success leaves clues, and Aika just proved how much value she's been bringing. I mean, come on, to be a multimillionaire in your young 20s, you're creating enormous amounts of value, right?
It's amazing to watch her and in her power, and so silent power. She was very strong, and I really enjoyed her talk, and she tied in some core values for the industry, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one of the principles that we always need to do in network marketing is this personal development. Let's talk about books.
Yeah, Sherry, I love that she actually wrote a book.
She wrote a book, How to Become a Millionaire,
and
right?
so you've been in network marketing for so long. What was the book that actually got you on track in the business?
You know, one of my favorite books ever of all time is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. That book absolutely changed everything because it changed my mindset. You're going to hear a lot about mindset. It's one of the key factors of helping you really become successful is you've got to program this in order to create results, right? So